nation. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. Igniting the fire within you. Exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
Let's get ready to rumble. Do I need to ask for permission for that, Vincent? Ooh, do I have Vincent Squire on? I don't know. I thought I did. Yeah.
No, I'm just enjoying it
Do,
here.
do I need to do I need to ask permission for that, man? Let's get ready to
Yes,
rumble.
yes, Michael Buffer has a patent on that.
Yeah, it's trademarked and everything, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah, but they should have had that last night, and it should have been in an octagon. It should have. Listen, man. I went through 5 bags of popcorn, man. And I tell you, if Bloomberg was here, he would have arrested me because I had the jumbo size soda too.
Well,
Goodness.
I went through 6 aspirin.
Oh my gosh.
Exhausting. It was. My wife said, "This is how you sound when you do Eric Dawson's radio show."
So listen, I want to start off everybody by thanking all the folks who were on my page last night and this morning, offering congratulations to me and to Amina. Really appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Anyway,
Oh, well, since we're saying thank you, I want to thank you everybody who sent me birthday wishes and congratulations, and I want to thank people who wish that I die.
hey, you know what? You got to thank you. You got to love your friends and your enemies, right?
There you go.
You know, one of the things that I realized, Vincent, is and you know, and I think people say it, but when you practice it, it's different. They are all a part of the sum total of who I am, right? So you know, any successes that I achieve are a result of my friends and my enemies, right? Me learning how to make adjustments in my life, learning how to assess things differently. All of those folks have contributed. And so to each and every one of you, I thank you. so, yeah. So.
Yeah, because nobody makes me bring my A game more than when I got haters.
Yeah. I don't like using the word hater because I think hater goes around too often, right? I mean, or it's a commonplace term, and so people throw it around and it creates confusion. But listen, I also want to say I'm looking at myself, man, and I look like the woolly mammoth. So I got to make my way. I got to make my way to Farrakhan. I think Amina's gonna drag me there, man, by hook or crook to get tightened up. You know, we've gone beyond manscaping here. We just need full like demolition and rebuilding.
Renovation and reconstruction.
Hey, listen, man, I don't even know if renovating can occur. I think it just has to all be, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I push it to the limit. But because I have a master barber who can get me tight, I can be tight in no time. So if you haven't experienced Farrakhan Sawab, make sure you go visit him. He's located in Newark Diamond Cuts. Go do it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what my wife had scheduled me to do yesterday after the show. She was like, "You're going down to Max's." My brother Max. In fact, there have been some occasions where I was contributing to your show, and I was in Max's barbershop in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So go do that. So listen, I mean, look, we could talk fodder before we get into it, but I think, you know, just getting right into it is going to be entertaining enough.
Okay.
The debate last night.
Jody to call?
Well, the debate last night, right?
Okay.
So, listen, I put this on my page early on. It was a chess match, and I think very quickly Donald Trump brought his queen out, took the center of the board, knight c5, and then began advancing his pieces, backing Biden up into a corner, forcing Biden to castle at one point. But I think in the end, I think the advantage went to Donald Trump. I'm going to tell you why, and then I'll allow you to, you know, open up. I think that the when you look at the political board, what is required for the Democrats to win is for them to motivate black people, right? That's one. Secondly, and Bernie Sanders said it during the primary. He said his campaign was the only campaign that could match the energy of Donald Trump's. He said that Biden wouldn't be able to do it. He said that. Now, see, we can't ignore the history of this whole thing. And so during the election, we saw the manufacturing or the attempted manufacturing of energy for Joe Biden, but we saw actual energy on the progressive side. Now, what Donald Trump attempted to do last night, and I knew he was going to do it. One, he attempted to just disrupt the entire structure. He said, I'm going to own it. He said, I'm going to come in and I'm going to suck the entire energy and oxygen out of this room, which I believe he did. He had Chris Wallace on his heels. He had Joe Biden for many times on his heels. Joe Biden, I think in the idea of acting presidential, abandoned that when he called him stupid, told him to shut up. Right. So, and that's exactly what Donald Trump wanted. He said, listen, I'm a pig and I want you to come play in this slop with me. And he got Joe Biden to do that. Right. Where Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we go high. Biden couldn't contain himself and he went low. And that's exactly where Donald Trump and where Donald Trump's people want to be. So that occurred. And I said, oh, my gosh, look at what's going on. He's literally pulling him over. Then it continued, and Trump said it when he asked him about his position on healthcare, and then he asked his position on the police, and Biden was not clear and decisive in his answer. Trump said, you just lost the radical left. You just lost the progressives. Then he continued. And so now he told everybody what he was attempting to do, which is he was attempting to separate Biden. He was attempting to say, hey, show who you really are now. Right? You're trying to hedge your bet over here. They're trying to sequester you and not get you to talk about these things over here because you might be offensive to different groups and you want to be all things to all people and you can't. Donald Trump said, I am not trying to be all things to all people. I am clear about who my base is, and I'm going to speak directly to my base. And he said, I challenge you, Joe Biden, to do the same thing. He said, talk about the police, talk about the Green Deal, talk about health care. And Joe Biden could not talk about those three things, which the moderate wing of the party and the progressive wing of the party are at fundamental odds with. And there was the major challenge, I believe, with Joe Biden. And as this was going on, Black Americans, there was no conversation about you at all in any of it. And so, yes, none.
We saw two totally different debates.
Well, I want you to explain it, right? And I'm going to sit silent as you start to explain it. I didn't hear any specific thing about Black Americans and how Black Americans were going to be extricated from the bowels of hell that we have been in for 400 years in this country. I didn't hear anything. I heard how we were lumped into some bigger thing, but not how we specifically were going to be extricated from the very bowels of hell that Black Americans have been in for 400 years in this country. And because of that, I think Joe Biden lost because he didn't onboard those 1.4 million Black people who stayed home in 2016. So I think he lost those. And I think that there's going to be rumbling within the progressive wing of the party. And I don't think that AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, or Ayanna Pressley, or Bernie Sanders are going to be able to bring the progressives over to save Joe Biden. I'm done. I'm having my coffee. You go.
Okay. Now I saw a total different debate than you did.
Uh-huh.
Now let's look at let's look at some of the finer points of the debate. Now
There were fine points?
So Eric, you said, and I quote, "I am going to listen to you
I'm
as
listening.
you do it."
I'm listening.
Okay. So what you're doing right now is what Donald Trump did. It's distract and deflect so that the point doesn't get out. And that was one of the biggest things that actually happened. Now, his whole technique was to distract and disrupt. In the beginning, before everything, both of their people and parties had signed off on a simple fact. To respond. Every time you turned around before Biden can get a word out of his mouth, Donald Trump started talking over it, started interrupting, starting to disrupt, and then the deflect. Instead of him talking about the issues, because Donald Trump cannot talk about the issues in our society today because the issues that we're dealing with are caused by him. So that was one of the biggest things, the techniques that he did. Although I had to say, Joe Biden showed a lot of grace, a lot of poise when he looked into the camera and addressed America. Okay? And he said, yes, I know that you're hurting, and I'm planning to bring on some relief and with a plan. But let's look at the plan. And the questions that were deflected was every time they talked about the COVID virus, he said it was the China virus in which he closed China. He didn't close China. He said he was closing China, but people still got in, and the virus came to us from Italy. Next thing you know, he talked about how much he's done and all these millions that he had sent out in terms of masks and everything. And the fact checkers worked overtime. Every 78% of what he said in that debate was a lie. And he never even answered the core questions. Never once did he answer a core question. All he did was deflect and start blaming Joe. Then Biden did one of the most incredible things that I ever heard, which took a great deal of guts, where he showed compassion for his own family. Trump started talking about his son, and Biden said, no, that's a lie. He didn't receive anything. Everybody had checked the facts, and they found out it was a lie. And he says, yes, my son, like millions of other people, has a problem with addiction. He says, but he is working on it. I love him, and I'm proud of him.
I'm playing the violin right now.
Play the violin.
I want you to understand.
But yet he sat up there and he pointed out, yes. And my other son, you talk about destroyed. The military was a mess. The military. One thing about the United States military being one of them is that they are never a mess.
Right.
We have the best mechanized and ready to move military in the free world.
Right. So Vincent, I'm not.
No. Let me finish, please. Please. So the other point. See, once again, the distractions.
No. Go ahead, Vincent. But go ahead. I want you to finish. Go ahead. Don't talk about distractions. Just go ahead. Talk. Go ahead.
So again, the other thing that he basically specified is that no, we got some injustices that we had to deal with, and he sat up here and he said to him, "Oh, by the way," and the one thing that I did,
Vincent, talk. Go ahead.
Donald Trump sat up there and then expressed to them that no, I've got great people working the polls. You know what that is? Voter intimidation. Then he sat up here and made the Proud Boys go berserk on social media by saying, "Stand by."
Okay.
Stand by.
Okay.
These group of people who have been bringing all these fights in. Oh, by the way, before you even start talking about the squad and Bernie Sanders, you should have checked their Twitter feed last night. They were all in support.
No, I'm not.
All of them mobilized.
Right.
And wait a minute, and I've been in relationship with the Biden camp because we're doing an event. These people call me 4 times a day, checking on every detail of this event. So don't tell me that they don't have the energy. These people are ready. And in fact, I was in Philadelphia yesterday. There were 23 people who went around with Biden shirts and talking to everybody saying that, you know what, we need to flip the Senate. And we need to get Biden me, from what I see, that America is not galvanized to get rid of Trump.
Okay.
Go ahead, Eric.
All right. So what I'm going to say is this. I know I got 2 callers on the line. Please, one second, guys. I appreciate your recap of last night's events. My point is this, Vincent, that it was imperative, I believe, that Joe Biden speak directly to Black Americans in order to onboard that 1.4 million that did not vote in 2016. I don't care what he said last night. All of the things that you talked about, all of them, every single one of them, not one of those things that you talked about express explicitly how Black Americans' lives are going to be any different. Not one thing that you talked about. Not his son and what went on over there. So wait, let me go now, right? Let me go now.
I am going to let you finish.
Let me go now.
Okay. And I will give
All
you
right.
that one point that you didn't see.
Okay. So all of the things that you talked about, not one of those things said my life is going to be different. That Joe Biden being elected, that my life is going to be different. And I think that 90 minutes on a stage where you're not talking to me, where Donald Trump was able to distract him to get him to talk about his son, no matter how compassionate he talked about him, right? Still wasn't talking about me. I don't give a shit about his son. I care about me and my son, right? So while Donald Trump had him talking for 15 minutes about his own son and not talking about me and my son and how my son's not going to be pulled over anymore and how I don't have to worry about praying when my son is driving that when he does get pulled over, he may be shot in the back 7 times. When he's not talking about that, when he's not talking about closing the racial wealth gap, when he's not talking about all those other things, but talking about his son, I think Donald Trump wins. Let me finish.
Oh, I thought you were finished.
No, I'm not done.
No,
I'm not done by a long. No, I'm not done. And so all of these things that you highlighted, all of the grace with which you say he spoke, all of the things that touched you emotionally, right, offer no tangible, measurable thing that says that the life of Black Americans are going to be any different under his 4-year reign as they have been over the 400 years that we have been here in this country. Now, wait a minute, before you go. Go ahead, and then I want to take these 2 callers.
Okay, so now.
So I want you to give me one thing, Vincent. That's all I want you to do. One thing.
One thing. I'm going to give you one thing if you stop being Donald Trump for 2 minutes.
One thing.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. The single most thing that he said that has a great deal of effect and impact on the Black community is that he said this. We put in a national plan to stop this virus. Because we cannot build the economy back. In fact, I'm paraphrasing, if people are not healthy.
Okay. Got it.
Now, let's look at that. And let's look at that. Because Eric wants to see the Black agenda. We're talking about a virus that disproportionately affects who? Not the white people, but the Black people. We're talking about an economy that disproportionately affects who? Not the white people, but the Black people. Now, here is the strategy. Let's fix the imminent danger to America now, and we will get to the rest.
There we go. Kicking the can down the road. Call it go.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let the lady go first.
Joe, good morning.
I'm trying to prepare myself by setting up my little new office space in my car. I can take my lunch now. So I don't think that Joe Biden did well in the debate last night, in the sense of the flub of that was most alarming for me, right, personally. But no one could have done that debate. No one could have participated in that moment and it be a moment. I think but when you talk about, you said that he didn't say anything for Black people, but he did, right? He did in a very awkward way, that when about policing. He talked about bringing people to the White House. He hit every sector of that conversation: activists, community leaders, politicians, police chiefs, police officers, and worked through that. To expect in a 90 minutes that he would lay out a plan. I had a conversation with someone this morning, and they said he didn't say anything about health care. Yeah, he did. He hit the plan, right? He said that I have a plan that would expand Obamacare, that would give more to these, that would not affect private insurance. It would just be a move, a close. What else could he say? Because to act as if you knew that Trump would bastardize that process, not just be Trump, right? It wasn't as blank as being Trump. It was much more insidious as bastardizing yet another process that we lived through as a country. It was embarrassing when China watched it. It was embarrassing when Germany watched it. It was embarrassing for the UK. It was embarrassing for Canada. It made us look very bad as a nation, and it was horrifyingly inaccurate, right? He lied. He said everything he said. I fact-checked this morning myself. I didn't let MSNBC do it. I went back in.
Right, but Jody, can't we conclude?
Don't, Eric, don't.
Well, but no. Wait a minute. But right. So he lied. Right, but I want to. Right,
No.
Vincent, please stop. Vincent. So Jody, I just want to. So he lied. Right. So we don't need to. He lied. I don't have an issue with that. I don't want to drag out the fact that he lied. He lied. Right. So let's say it. But they all lie, don't they?
I didn't. No.
That's my problem with this play, and we give him these normal attributes that his is not normal. I think the greatest messaging I've seen has been by Ronald Rice, where everything he posts, he says this period is period, not period, normal period. That wasn't, he doesn't tell the politician everyday lie. He tells lies that have affected the lives of Americans. And not just like, hey, poor people, I'm going to hook you up on as soon as I get in elections. Let's take a Democrat lie, right? And we're going to do some programs and we're going to whatever, and then they mama, they papa, they uncle eat, and the money never makes it to the hood.
Right.
That Democratic lie. No, this is not normal. His stuff is not normal. And but here's the bottom line, right? I went through the debate, and I'm being very honest. And quick story, and then I'll stop. So years ago, when I was married, me and my husband prepared for the debate between Ross Perot and Bill Clinton. Right? I swear to God this happened, and I'm probably telling too much information. And we smoked a joint before the election, before the debate, I'm sorry. And when Ross Perot, I don't know if anyone remembers Ross Perot and the crazy things he would say, he was just like, all right, we allowed the entire debate. Listen, I was waiting to talk to Diane. Diane and I were drinking last night, and we had a good time. But I laughed for a large portion of that debate. It was funny to me in the initial. Donald Trump is just like this wild dude who's like, it was ghetto. He was ghetto.
Right. No, right.
If he would have been a black man, everyone would have said, oh my God, he is ghetto and he's dumb, right? But once he made the comment, once he said the words, what I was most disappointed by Joe Biden is this, that Joe Biden isn't cognitively sharp enough to have caught that the President of the United States, not a dog whistle. My daughter said to me, Mommy, is that what you call a dog whistle? No. When he said out loud, stand by, stand back,
Right. So let's have this. So
I
wait.
can't hear her.
No. Right. But I wanna move the conversation forward quickly. Right. Right. Here's the thing. Right. Right. The dog whistle thing, or whatever you want to call it. Let us start there. Let us start there. I posted something yesterday where I said Donald Trump spoke specifically to his base yesterday, and we're offended, right? Those people who are not part of his base are offended, right? So it was abrasive, right? Like he told them stand by. But we're clear now. We're clear about who he is and who his base is, because they said 4 years ago that this man could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and still get the votes, right? So we ought not, that he can grab women by the crotch and still get the votes, that he can dismantle women on the stage, Hispanic women, all kinds of women, and still get the vote. So why continue to be shocked and offended and all this? Just recognize that he's speaking. Let me finish, please, and then I'll right. But he's speaking. So let's acknowledge that he's speaking to his base. Let's acknowledge that he's speaking to his base. And what I'm simply saying is this: Biden doesn't have a base. That's what I'm saying. So Biden wants to.
What you did say was,
Biden does have a base.
what is it? He didn't do the job to incite a base. Talking about Biden, right? That he didn't say anything that was going to get black people up and running. He didn't have to. Once the president of the United States said stand by and stand back, every black person in this fucking country, every black person in this country should go out and vote against Donald Trump. After that, Joe Biden could have actually just stood in the corner and shut his mouth. He should no longer have to pander to us. He shouldn't have to have a commercial that runs Trump back saying stand by and stand back. That should have been the end. If that doesn't rally up black folks, oh my Jesus, what will?
Right.
If the president, because we keep normalizing this very not normal, right? We keep saying, oh, why is Donald Trump says things like that all the time? Is that right? Do you mean to tell me that Donald Trump says racist, that he basically said to the nation, I am the head of the white supremacy movement, and I'm calling my people, this is basically what he's saying, to stand by until I say, move. If that is not what will bring black people, guess what? At this juncture, it shouldn't be voting for someone. No. Yeah, you need to vote against him. And everyone should be pressing that today, because you should be offended, Eric, when you talk about what did he say? What did Biden say?
Right. So Jody. So listen. But Jody. I am as offended. Right. So here, and I keep trying to express this about me. Whether you're a closet racist or an overt racist, you're still a racist, right? So I believe that Joe Biden is a closet racist. I believe that Joe Biden is a closet bigot. I believe that Joe Biden's policies over the time that he's been in the government has been very harmful to Americans. So if you're saying, well, but he behaves nicely, right? But he behaves cordially. Wait a minute, but he behaves cordially. But when you look at Donald Trump, he's crass. He's out in the open about it. He's this and the other. And so I need to be emotionalized by the manner in which Donald Trump exhibits his racism. I'm saying racism is racism. Bigotry is bigotry. I'm looking at the condition of Black America, and I'm going, all of them are involved. I don't care how you said it to me. You don't. If you buy me dinner and an expensive bottle of wine, it doesn't make you any less a racist. It doesn't make you any less a bigot. It doesn't make you any less dangerous to Black Americans.
But Joe Biden is not organizing a militia and a white supremacist.
Well, that's not true. Wait a minute. But that is not.
No, Eric.
But that's not true.
But he is not. He has not sat up there on national.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. The manner. So what you're talking about is But what you're talking about is the manner in which he did it, right? But I'm saying to you.
Not do, Eric.
No.
Did Joe Biden ever call to arms a white supremacy group? Yes or no?
No, listen to what I'm saying to you, though.
No, yes or no?
No, I'm going to answer your question. The answer, the manner in which he did it, no, he didn't do it that way. No, he didn't do it that way. But what I am going to say to you is this. When you look at the condition of America, of black Americans, and you look at the policies that Joe Biden was in support of, black Americans are suffering, right? So no, he didn't do it the way that Donald Trump is doing it, but God damn it, he did it. Now, you want to look and be offended at the way Donald Trump is doing it. I'm
Give
going.
me one example where Joe Biden.
Wait a minute. So wait a no. See again, you're talking about the matter. No, you're talking about the way the soup was cooked, the way the sausage was baked. I'm saying to you this: are you not? Are
I'm talking about is show
here?
me the
No.
ingredients.
Here's the question I'm going to ask you, and then we're gonna let.
Answer my question
I answered your
first.
question. No, I answered you.
When did Joe Biden ever do it? When? Give me one example of when he did what Donald Trump did.
No,
When
no, yeah, but
he
you're missing a.
organized white supremacists
Right.
to go against America.
No. So I'm answering. Right. Are you listening? Because see, you talk to hear yourself talk. So I'm saying no. He didn't do what Donald Trump did. Did you hear me clearly? Right. You asked me to answer your question. Right. So I'm answering your question. No, he didn't do it. But I'm going to ask you this question: are you going to suggest that Joe Biden's policies, the ones he supported over the last 51 years he's been in government, haven't, by in part or in whole, been responsible for the condition that black Americans are in? Answer my question now.
I'm going to, can I answer? So
Go ahead, Jody.
Right? I said this to you once.
No, yes or no?
I'm in the, no. Why? Because in the last 50 years, during Joe Biden's time in public office, right, 32 of those 50 years the country was run by Republicans. They were not run by Democrats. Joe Biden's policies weren't into action. You guys say that, so I fact-checked it, right? Out of the 50 years you're talking about, 32 of those years, this country has been run by the Republican Party, right? That's one. I'm just going to throw that out there and leave it, right? That's one. The other fact is, Eric, let's take you for example. I've heard you say several times in this, let's say the last year, how you've made mistakes politically, how you supported people and situations and such, and that you came on this very show and you said, and I am not that person, and I have evolved, and your expectation is that everyone takes you as that person. This is not emotional. This is real life happening.
So I want to get to your point, Jody. So are you saying that Biden has evolved?
Can I get my answer to your question that you made?
Well, you did. You wait a minute, but you didn't answer when I asked you. Jody did. Right. So I'm speaking to Jody now. So I'm speaking to Jody now, and then I'll allow you to answer. So Jody, so are you suggesting that Joe Biden has changed?
No, this is no. And guess what? What I'm suggesting is you and I don't know, because Joe Biden in this real time talk right now, and we can even give him those 8 years under Obama, right? In real talk, real time, right now, right? He hasn't effectuated anything that hurt black people. The real time, the real talk, right? He did those things. He said about the 1994 legislation that maybe he called that wrong, right? But you're saying we have no forgiveness for him. We're not even going to say that he could have evolved. We're not going to give that, even though his behavior today and the now has been proactive to help us, allegedly. But that's not the point. But you can't argue this person that I just told you, 32 of your 50 years that you put on the table were not even run by his party, right? The other, Obama takes 8 of the other 20, and Clinton takes the other, right? So we can't just blame Joe Biden for all of the failures of the Democratic Party.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that.
Now let's do the opposite. In 50 years of Trump's life in public space, right? He and his father were sued by the federal government because they didn't want black people in their spot. He said that 5 young boys that were innocent should be hung in Central fucking Park.
Sure.
He came into the office on a white supremacist messages. He has continued in office, shotting down, shooting
Right. So you know what?
The hell are we
Okay.
saying
So
today?
right. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. So let me. Wait a minute. One more second. One more second, Vincent, and then you got it. One more second, and then you got it. Right. I'm gonna say this, and then Vincent, you can go. So prior to Donald Trump being, and this is all I'm gonna say, prior to Donald Trump being in office, right? The history of who he was, who his father was, what they did to black people was well known in a lot of circles. And all the people, including Joe Biden and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and the rest of those Democrats, took money from him. So when we talk about, wait a minute, see, when we, no, see, so see, I'm not, no, no.
Yeah, you are being emotional.
No, I'm not. No. All right, I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk. Go ahead.
They take money from the wealthy, right? He was also at that time saying he was a Democrat. Remember?
Right. But you know what though? But it doesn't. You know. Right. Jody, stop. Jody, stop. So wait a minute. So if the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan says that he is a Democrat and I'm running for office and I take money from him, that's okay?
That's not what happened.
Come on, it is what happened. They knew what he was doing. They knew who his father was, but because they were...
Eric. See, first and foremost, Jody, hold on, Jody. First, there's a big difference between him being Donald Trump, the a la carte, who was supporting politicians, to now Donald Trump, the president.
No, he was still who he was. He just wasn't driving policy. But because they were benefiting from him, they didn't give a shit. Stop it.
You know what you sound like? You sound like when Donald Trump said last night when he blamed Joe Biden for cheating on his fucking taxes. That's what you sound like. You sound just like Donald Trump.
No, come on. Come on now.
I did.
See,
Come on, Eric.
no.
You're not being fair with them.
No, I am being fair with them. I'm saying that what I'm looking at is the end result of their actions. The end result of their actions. The end result, I'm going to say it again, of their actions, which is that black Americans are in the shitter, right? And so to not look at the totality of the action, whether you have Republicans or Democrats in office, because he was spending money on both.
Eric, first and foremost, the entire conversation that you're having is mute. It's a distraction to the initial point. Now,
what's the initial point, Vincent?
The initial point is the simple fact of the debate and what came out of his mouth. Now, Eric, if you're trying to tell me that he won in terms of because Biden did not address the initial needs of black America when Donald Trump basically made every black American go buy a gun, pull out their gun, and polish their gun by telling this militia to stand by and stand ready for this revolution that he's going to do. And these people and these militias, they're not coming after the Donald Trump and the a la carte. They're coming after the black people who are voting. They're coming to intimidate those lines. They're coming to kill, harm, and destroy you.
So...
And then you're going to tell me that has nothing to do with it? And you want to minimize that action that could put your life and your fiance's life in jeopardy?
So Vincent,
come on, Eric.
Let me
stop drinking that Kool-Aid, brother.
Vincent, so you're gonna
tell that you get with the program.
Vincent, so you're gonna say to me that prior to his outward call for the militia, that the militia hasn't been dog whistled for 400 fucking years?
Eric,
wait a minute, answer my question.
Okay, well, let me answer your question. 400 fucking years ago, I wasn't on this earth. Right now, where he called them is where I stand. Right now, where he called them, I'm in danger.
Right. So you weren't in danger before. That's my point.
No, Eric, that's a diversion.
No, it's not a diversion.
Because you then answer the question. You tell me what he did was not fundamentally wrong to black America.
Oh, no, I'm not. No. It was dead wrong. My point to you is this. See, wait a minute. You asked me a question. It was dead wrong. No, because because that's not where the timeline starts and ends, Vincent. It was dead wrong what he did, but I can't take it out of context. I've been in danger since I've been alive. You're telling me to just wake up and think I'm in danger now because of what that goddamn man said yesterday. I've been in my life, listen, Vincent, wait a minute. When I was 10 years old and the cops in Irvington turned my little ass around and told me to go back to Newark. When I was riding my bike at 12 years old up South Orange Avenue going to Livingston and I had white kids throwing bottles at me calling me nigga. My life was in danger then. I didn't wake up yesterday and watch that goddamn debate and say, oh, Eric, guess what? Your life is in danger. My life has been in danger. That's my whole point. And so now you want me to be reactionary to the fact that this man just outwardly said what has been going on in this country since I've been alive and since my ancestors were brought here in 1619. And what I'm saying to you is this: all of those people, all of them are tacitly or directly involved in it. And so I didn't hear anything that was going to relieve my feeling of danger and imminent threat. Nothing.
Okay, then let me requote what Joe Biden said, and maybe you can hear it again and get some level of relief. When Donald Trump pressured him and said to him, say, who is supporting our law enforcement? Joe Biden responded with this: I believe that we do need to defund and de-escalate the police. I said we need more money, not in buying weapons for police and turning them into armies and warriors, but we need more money for community policing so that they can get to know the neighborhood. When we had community policing, crime was down, arrests were down, people being assaulted and being shot by cops was at a non-existence. He said we need to get back to that. Now, if that doesn't secure one part of your life,
okay. So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Okay, so let's get back to it. Okay, that's what you just said.
If I could, let me ask you this question. Now, with what I just told you, with what he says, does that not give you some level, a small portion of comfort, knowing that under his administration you could be a little safer?
Right, I'm gonna answer the question in context. Okay, because he said get back to it. So I'm gonna ask you, when we look at inner cities, in particular, right? When were we at a place? When were black folks at a place where we felt some level of comfort around police? No, I'm asking you a question. When were we? Because you said get back to it.
Let me answer that. Okay, because where I grew up wasn't where you grew up. Where I grew up, we did have community policing. We had police officers who did not sit in their car. We had police officers who walked.
Where'd you grow up, Vincent?
Huh?
Where'd you grow up?
North Philadelphia, straight in the hood. A block and a half from Blumberg Projects. Either in the projects.
Okay. What year was this, Vincent? What year was this that you're talking about?
This was from the year 1968 to 1974. Okay. Now, and in fact, that only changed in my neighborhood when we got another cop who was more of a radical and trying to suppress the Black Panther Party and went crazy on Black America. That's where this came from, black community policing to now police being warriors in my neighborhood. So no, and don't sit up here and say that I'm out of touch, because no, my mother held me so that I wouldn't get beat up when she was in when she was doing the cafeteria sittings in South Carolina. No, I sat up here and as a young man got pulled over with a gun in my face at the age of 10.
So Vincent,
because of the gang violence.
Right. So you're talking 46 years ago, right? So wait a minute. So the timeline that you put in place right now, you're talking 46 years ago where there was community policing, right? And what I'm going to say is this: in those 46 years, what's that? 2.5 generations, right? Of non-community policing, where you had both Democrats and Republicans in office, both at local, state, and federal levels. You had black folks being terrorized. So we're talking 2.5 generations, right? At least from the timeline you just gave me of being terrorized. And you're saying that right now, in this moment, yesterday's debate, 90 minutes, I should feel comfortable. I'm going, no. I'm saying I am so in tune with what damage has been done over that generational micro and macro aggression, that generational murder, right, in black community. I'm so in tune with that. I'm going, no, you can't convince me in one 90-minute debate that this guy makes this comment and I look and go, I absolve you. Right? Or that I look at the other guy and say, because he took a different tact and decided that he was going to be completely overt, right, and non-apologetic about his racism, that somehow that's harming me more. They both harmed the black community, Vincent.
Eric, well, let's look at this, because all we're doing is going down another rabbit hole and diverting from the initial topic and subject.
No, the topic was that he didn't, that in my opinion, he didn't do anything that pulled the black community over to him. That was the topic.
Please. Well, listen to this, Eric. Listen to this. Now, those things that happened in the past, I believe that Joe Biden has changed. Just like I have changed, just like you have changed. But there are some people who cannot let go of your past. Just like there are some people who sit up here, and it's been 10 years since my incarceration, yet there are people who still post my mugshot on social media because they cannot let go of the past. There are some people who could not let go of the past, yet when I got engaged to my wife, they decided to go and explain to them that I was formerly incarcerated and that I was this terrible, horrible.
But this isn't about you, Vincent. This is about the elect. Right, go ahead. Go ahead.
There are some people who cannot let go of your past. But you know what? That's not your problem. That's their problem.
No.
Now, because a lot of people deal with post-traumatic stress of the event, which cause them to relive it and cannot come into the future. In the future, right here, right now, Donald Trump is an existential threat to the black community. Not only is
unlike the rest of them.
Let me finish, because I can wrap this up in less than 60 seconds.
No, you can't.
Not only is he a threat with allowing this virus to go rampant, with allowing us to lose jobs and claim, and now he's a threat by allowing militia, vigilantes to come into your neighborhood and shoot your black behind. Now, if there is not a bigger threat to black America right now than him, you tell me, what is it?
Right. So.
And let's not go back to the 1600s. Let's talk about right now. As my grandmother would say, R-A-T now.
Okay. So all the yelling, all the screaming, all the emotionalizing isn't going to change the fact that.
Brother, caller, I know you've been waiting for a long time, brother. Can you help me?
Listen, guys. First of all, Brother E, congratulations on giving the meeting. Let me start on before I beat you up, my brother.
You gonna give the kids first? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Listen. Not only is there not one poll that agrees with you, Eric, and that's both.
Oh, but wait, before you go, Darren. No, I'm gonna let him finish. But Darren, as you say this, remember, in 2016, none of the polls agreed with me either. Now, go ahead.
No. There's nothing like this, Eric. There's nothing like this.
Okay.
So, let's take a look at this, brother. Because I think what you're doing, Eric, is you are trying to normalize Trump's behavior. And if we can't normalize what you feel Democrats have done to us for years, you can't normalize Trump's behavior either. So let me go down the line. This is real simple. A third grader can figure this one out.
Uh-oh.
If you are the sitting president, because if you want to talk about it, I said in my live earlier, that and I agree with you, Biden's record is fair game, and so is Trump's record fair game. But I keep hearing you guys talk about only the Democrats and Biden, and you normalize Trump. So here's one. Global warming. Now, there are people in the area of expertise that talks about global warming, talk about climate change. It's real. It's real. It's not fake. It's real.
That's right.
You
It
don't
is
agree
real.
with them. That's one. Two, the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, as I like to call it. Let's be clear. He asked him directly last night about a plan. The Republicans for 10 years have been trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. But guess what? They don't have a plan, Eric. And neither does the president, and he couldn't answer that last night, but he wants re-election. Number three, and I think it was eloquently said by Brother Vincent, COVID-19. Brother, our health is our real wealth. This idiot don't have a plan. He knew about it early on, ignored it, called it a hoax, blamed it on the Democrats, said they asked him, etc. We can't normalize that behavior, Eric.
No. I think that it was. Listen. I'm not.
Now.
Listen.
Number four, white supremacy. Again, Vincent hit all the sweet spots. You got a president that can't denounce white supremacy.
Correct.
He can't even denounce it. And instead, he basically told them to take up arms and get ready to do something illegal.
Yes, he did.
Your black butt, my black butt, our family's black butt, and we can't normalize it. Let me go to number five. Because I watched it very closely last night as I do every debate. Tax returns. You can't normalize that this idiot, and we can call it working the system all you want. He's breaking the law. You're the president. And I saw somebody say, well, other people don't pay taxes either. But that's not the damn president. He's the president of the United States. When are we going to get some kind of... We need civility back, guys. We don't have any civility. Last two, election fraud. There's no... Eric, there's his own FBI director said, there is no iota of evidence. And we keep normalizing and saying, he just says it's fake news, but it is okay to say it. Eric, we got to stop this, brother, because what's on the ballot on November 3rd, as I said on my live earlier, is civility. We at the very least, Eric, need somebody that can be civil.
So
idiot can't be
all right.
civil.
Can I say?
It's not cool, man.
All right.
You're not going to get. Black people can't get saved in 90 minutes, Eric.
Can I respond?
Black people can't get saved.
Can I respond?
Thank you, Darren.
Can I respond? So I think that the word that
Darren.
I want to say this, and I guess this is where I am, right, with exactly what Darren said. I don't normalize any of the behavior, right? I identify all of what he's doing as being dysfunctional, dangerous, and destructive, right? But I'm saying that the behavior of all of them has been dangerous and destructive to Black Americans, and that's why we're in the position that we're in now. Let me finish, right? So Darren talks about wanting to get to civility. I'm saying civility didn't save Black America, right? And so now you want to get back to some civility, but none of that is going to save Black America. So it doesn't matter to me whether you screw me and you smile at me, or you screw me and you just screw me. The fact of the matter is I'm being screwed. And so for us to say, well, you know what? I want to feel better about it. Right? At the end of the day, I want to go to sleep and say the guy who's screwing me is a nice guy. And I'm saying, no, the impact ought to be what you're looking at, right? And so when we're looking and saying that nothing is fundamentally changing for Black Americans, that needs to be our focus. Not whether the guy is buying us a bottle of champagne and smiling in our face as they're doing it.
You consistently ignore the principles, policies, and plan that he has in place to America, because you sit up here and look at, and here's the big problem that we have with Trump. We've been dealing with these antics so much that we have become so desensitized to it.
I'm not desensitized.
Nobody is shocked about it, but everybody is upset about it. And that's the whole thing, Eric. You are so desensitized to what he's doing because you're still focused on what happened 400 years ago.
No, I'm only wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Eric, you cannot
There's
change
my-
the
you-
events 400 years ago.
Listen.
But there are plans to make it change right
Wait
now.
a minute.
But you minimize them.
So
And
you
ignore them.
listen. You just made my goddamn point. You goddamn right. I'm focused on the condition of Black America. You goddamn right. I'm looking at history of Black America. You are goddamn right. And you know what?
No, Eric, there's one thing to look at history. There's another thing to continue to live in that history. That's post-traumatic stress.
We're living.
What you need to do is look at the change right now.
There's no change.
Talking about 400
There is no
years.
change. There is no change. There's hoping.
Really?
Listen.
There is no change because you keep doing that,
No,
Eric.
no, there
You
is
keep going
no.
back to
You're
that.
just hoping. You're hoping. But there, look, I got metrics to look at to show you there's no change. The racial wealth gap. Listen,
And
15.
I got metrics that show that there is change.
No, you don't.
Up until February.
There's no
Up until
change.
actually
There's no change.
February.
Let me ask you.
No.
The condition of Black America has not. The condition of Black America. Listen,
Eric,
data shows.
Tell-
Data.
here's the question,
Listen.
Eric.
Listen.
Here's the question, Eric.
Vincent.
Here's the question.
Vincent.
One question.
Vincent.
One
Vincent.
question.
Vincent.
Tell me that you
I'm
can
gonna
do
pause you,
4 years
Vincent.
of this.
I'm gonna pause you. I have data that shows from 1952 to now, the state of Black America is actually worse. Data, Vincent. Now show me data that conflicts what it is I'm telling you. I have data that shows that from 1952 to now, the state of Black America is worse.
Okay. Now, Eric, in response to your data, you tell me, what of your data can tell you that Black America will be better with 4 more years
No.
of Trump?
No.
That's it. Because I'm not going to sit up here.
Tell me it's gonna be worse. Tell me it's gonna be worse.
Eric,
It's going to be worse. So why do you want to vote for something that's going to make it worse?
Go.
Eric,
We got another.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys. Y'all proving my point that why I didn't watch the debate last night, because I wanted to guard my soul. Demonic presidency and the demonic effects of a two-party system that has we always have to put stuff in historical
We do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but principalities and wickedness in high places.
Right. Hold on. Then let me finish. Look, we have to stop this moral equivalency. I mean, nobody's normal. I don't think Eric is normalizing the president as much as he is saying that the equivalence. You know what I mean? We got to stop that, because this two-party system is at the root cause of our problem as Black people. Vincent, you said earlier about the people we telling to stand back and stand by as a militia. These are white supremacist organizations. Me and you, we can form a militia, a well-armed, regulated militia. But what these people are doing is not a militia. They're disguising themselves as militia. And our language is, we have to be careful with it, because we need to be forming a militia right now. We need to be forming a militia right now. If he's telling white supremacist organizations to stand by, and Joe Biden, quite honestly, should have been saying that too. Look, hold on, buddy. Yo, y'all better start forming militias out there, because this thing is flirting with this.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
he stood there and was quiet.
That's
But
right.
You gotta be careful, Vincent, with your language. Good morning, everyone. These people are not militia. Good morning, everyone. Let's join. So, I mean, as far as the two, I'm serious about it. I said I wasn't gonna watch it because I'm gonna protect my soul, because what's going on now is not, it's demonic in a sense, and we opening up our soul to this fight.
So, Mike, I want to say this, and then
A lot of us are not
wait a minute.
even mature enough. A lot of
Right.
us are not even mature
No,
enough to have
Vincent,
this
don't do that.
conversation.
Mike, let me say this, and then I'm gonna bring Will Hathaway on. I'm bring Will Hathaway on in a second. But I want to say this, Mike. So when I posted on my page I think last week, that Joe Biden, in order to even get my attention, has to come to the altar of Black Americans and apologize. So part of what yesterday he could have done exactly what you said. Said, you know what, this man over here, he talked about decent people being on both sides, in Charlottesville. He talked about all these things. You know what, Black Americans, you guys are under assault, and you all need to take up arms, and you all need to defend yourself, and I'm with you. And not tell them to stop over there, but talk to us about what we need to do. But he didn't do that. See, that's what I need. That's what I want.
That's not true, Eric. That's not true. So, Eric,
But wait a minute, I want to bring Will Hathaway on.
Okay.
And then go ahead, Will, and then I'll listen to what you have to say, Jody. Go ahead, Will.
Hey, good morning, fellas. Good morning, ladies. Jody, well, what's up, Vincent, man? You've been holding your own on the show, man. Congratulations on your engagement, Eric.
Thank you.
Hope all is well. But I watched this debate last night. Okay. This debate was like a Chris Christie rerun. I think Christie sat down with him and gave him his version of bulliness. Okay, first of all, it was very disrespectful when 45 called Biden's son a drug addict. Yeah, he actually called him a drug addict. And we know we call him a drug addict. So all the Trump supporters out there, listen to the show. Come on, get with it. Get with the program. He actually didn't talk about many things in reference to education, where that's going. In reference to the taxes that Trump has paid, that I get that back in my refund, $750. $750. That's not nothing. That's not even a tax return, man. So. Well, let's talk about what Trump has, his agenda and his record for 4 years. Like I said before, government shutdown. He shut the government down and put people out of work. The coronavirus, he knew about it back in January. He did shit about it, nothing about it. Okay. Crime, he said he talked about law enforcement supporting him. Okay, Joe Biden has some law enforcement officers supporting him. Oh, there was a sheriff on Twitter that said that, I don't know what Trump's talking about. He said, I never. And the insecurity of Trump last night, when a person gets attacked, okay, they have something hiding in their closet. You know what I mean? They really have something hiding in the closet. But it's got to be up to the people this time. Like 1.4 million people did not vote it. We got to vote, man. We got to come out and vote. So I'm reading the Star Ledger today. Poll shows Biden leads in Pennsylvania. The last time, I think, Trump carried Pennsylvania by less than 1% 4 years ago. The first time a Republican president had won the Commonwealth since George W. Bush in 1988. So we have to show what we want. You know what I mean? So them 1.4 people, that includes the Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida. Okay, the governor down there is telling people not to wear masks. Well, he's a Trump supporter. Anybody that supports Trump is an idiot and not a true American. It's sad. It's sad to say in this country right now, the coronavirus. He talked about the Democratic governors. He didn't mention Phil Murphy by name. He didn't mention Cuomo by name, but he called them Democratic governors. So if it's a Democratic state, we're a blue state. Okay. So right now, coronavirus. 35 states are red states, okay? That's because the people in them states, they're not wearing a mask, they're not washing their hands. So, what's Trump going to come out with the... also, they did the fact checks on those red states. They have a larger increase in coronavirus right now than any of the blue states.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. Go ahead, Jody.
Sorry. So, Eric, I did forget to say congratulations. I said it last night online. I don't mean to rip you apart. So sorry.
No, that's okay. She'll lick my wounds when I'm done. She'll nurse me back to health.
Isn't that so sweet? That's so sweet. Okay, so back to business, right? Eric, it seems like I guess my question would be for you is, not your way, if it doesn't come your way, then it seems like you're not satisfied with it. So you said something about what he could have said, that he could have said, hey, black folks, you're under attack, so you should protect yourselves, blah, blah, blah. We know that's unrealistic, right? And
Why?
Why,
Jody?
Wait, let me tell you why, right? What would the world be? So are you saying that Donald Trump's call for white supremacists to stand by, the answer would have been from a presidential nominee, so black folks, y'all should go arm yourselves. But all I'm saying to you is, he did in fact say...
The Constitution tell you that. The Constitution tell you to arm yourself, but that's not... The presidents don't have to tell you that. Not, excuse me for interrupting.
Right? This is not normal. The conversation we're having right now isn't normal.
No, but it is normal, Jody.
Wait. We're not looking for a civil war in this country.
No,
right?
Jody.
We just want our rights because listen, I got kids.
Jody.
We can get on here and we can play and we can talk and we can be extremists if we want to, right? But no one's looking for a civil war.
Jody.
Right? We want our world back.
Jody.
The reality,
Jody, wait. Can I?
Civil war never ended.
Right. So, Jody, exactly. Jody, can I say this to you? Listen, Malcolm said what?
And many Americans.
Wait a minute.
Many Americans right now are going to food
Wait a minute.
pantries.
Listen, this country was founded on war, right? Malcolm says nobody's going to give you freedom. You have to take it. And if you're not prepared to fight for it, you don't deserve it. See, so on one end, you have people arming themselves. And over here, you want passivity. I'm saying no. There's going to be in order for us to be extricated from the bondage that we're under, understanding the mindset of the corporation white supremacy, which says that we were brought here to be the commodity to their wealth and power. They're not going to just simply let that go. And Donald Trump said as much yesterday. He said as much yesterday. And now the only other thing to say is, well, you know what? If they're not just going to let it go, then you need to arm yourself and you need to be prepared to defend yourself. Anything less than that does not help me as a black American. There will be no moderate.
That is your end, because what you said was he did not call out that black people are in a twist, but he did. He did say that the system was unjust for black people, that it was not equal. Joe Biden said these words last night, that the system was unjust for black people, that it was not equal for black people. Okay, he just didn't say, and black people should go get some guns. That's like us cherry picking the language in there,
No, it's
right?
not.
That we have to have this specific language. Wait a minute. That we have to have this specific language that says, hey, people, and go out and arm yourselves, right? Because this dude over here that Eric is saying isn't the number one enemy, just told you that he's going to send them back against you, that he's going to send them to your neighborhood to intimidate you and to maybe kill you in the street, like he had one that was 17 years old, did a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, and he stood up for that person, right? So that would have been the answer that would have said to Eric Dawson, okay, Joe Biden, so I'm going to pull the lever. That is no offense, right? That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Wow.
You're not going to hear that. And I'm trying to pull you to the lever. So I'm going to say it to you up front. You're not going to hear those words from Joe Biden.
Then he doesn't get my vote. Then he doesn't get my vote. Then he'll never get my vote.
I'm not going to hear those words, but like I said to you before, us even discussing the perils of Joe Biden today as black people, us even discussing his failures in that debate yesterday evening is scary, right? Because we have this moment, this time, this space, this place to at least start moving forward. Because here's the thing, Eric, right? I get it. 400 years, I get all of it. I am not in some fuzzy, buzzy place where I don't get it, right? I get it. But we can't give you what you desire and most of us desire in 32 days. That's just not going to happen. But we can start pushing and moving to a space that we can at least have a conversation. What we learned last night was that this president can't even have a legitimate conversation. He can't have that behavior of stomping and acting like a 2-year-old, that all across the nation people were putting out memes of the president of the United States saying, using languaging that was that of a juvenile, a toddler. We've got to move past that, or we will never have a chance to get to what you're looking for.
Right.
That chance
But
becomes-
no. That's not why we won't have a
Can I say
chance.
something? Then I want to get off the phone. Can I say something? I know that Vice President Biden was in the last administration. The fact that, and I'm sorry this conversation scares you, but the fact that he couldn't stand there and say that, yeah, we left the pandemic response team and this president defunded it to build a wall. And he couldn't respond in a coherent, quick, and sharp way should scare you. We as the last administration, hold on. As the last administration, unemployment was at its lowest point, and it continued after you got in until all of your failures. He couldn't even. He couldn't. Hold on. I didn't watch it. I just watched the clip. But hold on. He couldn't say that. Yo, you never respond with policy. Everything that you say is an excuse. The president of the United States right now does only have excuses for his behavior. And the man who wants the job needs to address that. Like, you're standing there, you're talking to the camera, and I understand that. But he needs to make those 1.some million people who didn't vote, he needs to make them understand, listen to this man, he's full of excuses. He has nothing to offer you.
He didn't have just one. He didn't have to say a word.
Oh, can I finish? Can I finish? I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you. Hold on. And then I'm going to sit back and listen. But if this conversation scares you, and I have a right to bear arms that scare you, and the fact that me and Eric and Vincent and whoever else is on the phone can get together and form a militia, we should have been doing that already. This is not a scary conversation. That this is the start of our community stop being criminalized. That's the start right there. So, if this type of conversation scare you, I apologize, but it's a conversation, whether it's an election year or any other time, we should have. And have it open.
Doesn't scare me, right? And I have no problems with bearing arms, right? I'm just talking about that ain't going to happen in 32 days, right? You and Eric and Vincent and the other gentlemen, y'all ain't going to get together in 32 days and be able to form this minister, right? And I got a problem that's right here in front of my face that can be eliminated in 32 days. So
but it's the problems that exist. Is the problem? I'm gonna interject. Is the problems that exist right here are gonna end in 32 days after the president is either win or lose? Oh, okay.
What point is that? This is what I said to Eric was that we have to move it forward, right? So you just stand here and keep saying, hey, he didn't say exactly how I needed him to say it, so I still got a problem with him. And he ain't as bad because we knew who he was, and so I don't have that much of a problem with him.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
This messaging,
his policies.
That's not what I said.
Over the years have been detrimental to the community, and a lot of these policies are still on.
I didn't say I didn't have a problem with Donald Trump. What I said is this, that my focus is on outcomes, right? My focus is on outcomes. It's not about how we got there. It's about that we're here. So I look and say black Americans are in the shitter from 1952, and until somebody shows me data that proves me wrong and proves the data that I look at that suggests this, that from 1952 to now, black people are actually worse off. Now, so
Eric.
wait a minute, let me.
The 1.4 million people need to get their asses out to vote. Then.
My point.
We need to vote to get our behind. Need to get their asses out to vote. Okay. And
I don't disagree that they don't need to. No.
And that's, it is what it is. And the people in Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio,
Right.
where the numbers are high, you know, they need to start wearing their damn masks, wash their hands, and protect their families.
Right, and I don't disagree. Will, that they need to get out and vote.
Say that again, Eric.
I don't disagree. They do need to get out and vote. But what I am saying is this idea that voting for Biden is going to improve the conditions of.
I voted for Biden already.
Right. Good. Well, congratulations. And but what I'm saying to you is this: that to suggest that voting for Biden is going to extricate black Americans from the shithole they're in America.
All the people in the country. 200,000 people died of coronavirus under Donald J. Trump's watch. Not Obama's watch. Not Biden's watch. Donald J. Trump. It's on his watch.
Right.
And when the government shutdown was on his watch. Okay?
Now, if I could, Eric, to suggest that see, first you have to look at this. What we have experienced since he took office up until now, and you're telling me that voting for Biden won't make a difference. Or not voting for Trump, but not voting at all means that you are voting for
No.
Trump.
I didn't say don't vote at all.
And no, what I'm saying to you is this. Would your life be better right now with another 4 years of Donald J. Trump?
And what I'm suggesting to you is this.
Yes or no? Eric?
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it would be worse.
Then we don't have any other candidates to vote for. It's Trump or Biden.
No. Did you hear what I just said? You asked me a question. I gave you the answer, but you didn't even listen to my answer. I don't think it would be worse.
And so,
You don't think it would be worse?
Right? Let's just go through your language, right? You said it can't be worse, right? But you have this pot of gold you're pushing for where you feel like black folks, if the conversation can't move forward and we're not doing right for black Americans until we can have a conversation. But you now know, without question, there is no could it
Conversation with
you
Trump.
know that there will be no conversation about black people other than the continuance of oppression and suppression under Donald Trump. You
Right.
know that.
Right.
So
And-
when you say that, and this is it, when you say, I don't see how blah, blah, blah should be a vote for Joe Biden, it's to say that you could accept Trump.
No, that's not what I. No, don't put words in my mouth. No, don't put words in my mouth. What I'm saying is this. So if your belief is that they'll invite black people in because Donald Trump does it too, right? You see black people around Donald Trump. You see black people. Wait a minute. No, that's not true.
Kanye.
No, wait a minute. Stop. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Stop for a second. Wait a minute. Stop. Okay.
Only black people around Trump either died from the virus.
No.
or they
No. So you can qualify who those black people are, but you can't say that they're not black people around him. Now you can discredit them.
What people are you talking about? You don't see anyone walking with him. There's not one.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Hold
Okay.
it. And every black person in his cabinet, he's fired.
Right, but
You mean that black people at a rally is put on them in the
whichever black. Listen.
Hey,
All right.
Trump's motto is
Okay.
reckless endangerment. He should be charged with
Right.
last night's debate.
Right.
Reckless endangerment charges.
Right.
He's very reckless.
So.
Very reckless.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the reckless endangerment that put the bullets in the apartment that they were charged with shooting in an empty apartment, but no endangerment for killing a woman
Okay.
with 6 bullets in her body.
All right.
Yep.
So what I was saying before you did that was that, and you can disqualify them, right? But there are black folks within the Republican Party. There are no black people. Wait a minute. There are no black people in the room. Okay.
Tell me right now, in this present state we're in, right? Tell me a black person that's in his cabinet. Tell me a black person that's on his campaign. Tell me a black person that does anything for Donald Trump, right? Like I said, the only black people you see with Donald Trump, listen, are two black people in the center of the screen at a rally with a mask over their face.
Tell them.
In his atmosphere. That's real, Eric, and you can't name one. So that's not true. And that's just a fact, right? And so I want to make it clear before I get off that I am not saying that Joe Biden, by any stretch of the imagination, is going to turn this around and within 4 years, black people going to have the pot of gold. Absolutely not. We can't say. We don't know. I actually feel like Joe Biden is a very minuscule part of what we should be pushing for. What we should be pushing for, again, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to keep saying this for the next 30 days. Once he said the word stand back, that was the end of it. It should be the end of the conversation. We shouldn't be debating where we are, right? We shouldn't be debating how important it is that he goes. We should just be acting on that. We shouldn't be talking about putting militias together. Ain't nobody got time to get, unless we're going to put a militia together and go to the White House and shoot Trump. We ain't got time.
Right.
Right?
You know how you do it, Jody?
So-
you vote him out of office.
so-
That's how
There you go.
Right.
That's your new militia. People need to get off their asses and go vote for him out of office. That's how it is, and that's the way it is.
So
And that's what we have to do. Not only do we have to vote, but we have to tell other people to get out. No, this is important.
And
We are voting for our lives.
Listeners of the show, the Trump administration has this reference to the census. We only got to October 3rd to fill our census out. And this is the type of mentality, the recklessness, endangerment that this guy has in the White House of taking people's health care away. He can give a shit less, excuse my language, I'll never curse again on the show. I apologize, Eric. But I'm saying this, I'm passionate because I'm a Democrat. I vote for the Democrats. And the bottom line is people's health is on the line. Jody talked. I think she lives in the Carolinas. That's a red state down there. I don't know if they wear their mask down there, but none of these 35 states are in the red. They're all in the red because people like the Florida governor is reckless, and that's Trump's buddy in the White House. So you can't tell me that Trump won that debate last night, because he didn't win it. Okay? It's going to be up to the people of this fine United States to vote him out.
Got it. Diane, you just dialed in. You have something to say?
Yeah. Hey, good morning, guys. So I'm listening.
Good morning, Diane.
Good morning.
Vincent, Jody, Will, Eric. I'm hearing everything you guys are saying. And Mike, because he called in earlier. And I saw the debate last night, and I made a lot of comments throughout the debate, a lot of things that I saw, a lot of things that stood out to me. One thing that I know that did stand out to me is, and when we talk about Trump won the debate, let's be clear. He didn't win it as in the aspect that he won over voters. So his base that he was speaking to last night, his redneck folks, they still going to vote for him. That's it. Point blank. What he did say was publicly, because Chris Matthews, which was a horrible moderator, he was punked.
No, that was Chris Wallace.
Chris Wallace.
Chris Wallace, thank you. He got punked by Trump because what Trump did was he controlled the debate, and that's what where I talk about and where other people talk about he won a debate.
That's absolutely right.
He was able to control the debate by moving it the way he wanted to do. So Chris asked the question, he answered whatever he wanted to answer. Biden didn't answer. Then he jumped in over top of his answer, and he changed the direction of the conversation.
Absolutely.
When he talked about Biden's son, and he said, oh, well, his son is a drug addict, this, that, and other. Okay, so he was talking about the wrong son, for one, because he kind of mixed them up because he's stupid. We all know that. The other thing about it is he wasn't lying. His son is a recovering addict. No, he's not a drug addict now. He's recovering, as far as we know. So he spoke partial truth, and that's what Trump does. He gives a little bit of the truth and a lot of bit of a lie, and you're smart enough to be able to pull out what's the truth and what's a lie. But as Democrats, because everybody wants to be a Democrat, they ain't black first. Ain't nobody talking I'm black first. As a Democrat, you have to be able to decipher his lies and the truth and be able to talk about the truth as well, even though it came from the devil. You can't disregard what he said as being a complete lie, because the whole sentence wasn't a lie. When he talked about the prescriptions and I'm going to get rid of I'm going to do this and it's going to be
insulin's going to be cheaper than water.
Cheaper than water. Well, that's cheaper than water with lead in it or without lead in it. Like, because the water across the country.
If you're going to use that Dork water.
We all know the water across the country is contaminated. There have been documentaries about it, how bad the water systems are because of the way the structure and how old the country is and how old these cities are. So that's partial truth and a whole lot of lie. When he spoke about, he talked about, a lot of people were really upset that he talked about Biden's son, kids. So what I have to say about politics is, minor children are off limits. Everybody knows that. They minors, they off limits. But those are adult kids. One is deceased, but they're adult kids. And when you have him, Trump, his own adult kids profiting off of him being in office, no kid is off limits. And we're going to talk about it. Now, because Biden didn't bring it up, that's on him. But when he said that about his son, and then Biden came back passionately to talk about his son, Trump had just diverted him away from the question. Away from Chris's question. When Chris pacified him and said, well, you're going to wait. I'm going to give you a question. You're going to like this. What the hell are you doing? You're the moderator. Who cares if he likes the question or not? So Trump, and this is why we say Trump won the debate, because he was able to control the direction of how the questions, and he was able to control and get out everything that he wanted to say.
Right.
That's it. He didn't give a crap about Biden. He threw Biden completely off on everything that he should have been talking about. He got Biden to even start calling him names.
Right.
So while he calls him Joe, Biden's calling him a clown. Biden's telling him to hush up. And that's what happens in the debates.
Called him a clown, called him stupid, told him to shut up. Listen, look, to me, winning and losing a debate is about whether or not you were able to effectively speak to and galvanize your base, one, and whether or not whatever targeted group you're trying to pull over, you were successful in doing that, two. And all I'm saying to you again is this: what's at stake in this election is whether or not Joe Biden can onboard the 1.4 million Black Americans who said there's nothing in this for us. I don't think that he was successful in doing that last night. I think that.
Well, Eric, I do think Biden was successful, and this is another 102 point politics or 103, where you want to put it with. He was relatable. He stopped talking to Trump, and he talked right to the camera. And that's what he should have did. He talked right to the people. How do you feel? Tell me about the people that have died around you for COVID.
For those of you who have that empty chair on your kitchen table.
That touched a whole lot of people. A whole lot of people right there. While he was able to come across the television and talk about any policies or anything that he was proposing to do, he was able to connect directly to him right there. So, and he was good. If he had stopped addressing Trump and treat him like the temper tantrum child that he was and ignore him and stick strictly to answering Chris's questions, he would have done even better. But he wasn't able to do that. So I do commend Biden. He did well, but Trump controlled the narrative of the debate. And you can't argue that. Regardless if you like what he said or didn't like it, he controlled the debate, because now we all talking about how much.
Yeah, Trump can definitely, she's right on all points.
She's absolutely
all
right.
points.
But this is what I would say the control was. I don't know if you were hysterically laughing as you and I were going back and forth. And seriously, I took you seriously. I had my Pinot Grigio, and when you
I was 50.
I drink, girl.
I stopped drinking, but luckily I wasn't drinking brown juice because I think I counted maybe 3 times that Biden said Obama, so I was pretty good with that. Trump had me tipsy, sliding out my recliner, so I had to literally stop.
I tell you seriously, at the end of me and Diane, it was like the best time I had in a long time, right? So when you say he controlled the debate, he sure did, right? But look how his control of the debate was basically comedic relief.
Absolutely.
I was
But
hysterical.
even Jody with that, this debate was enough, because it wasn't a debate, it was a TV show. So this TV show was enough to get our attention.
Yeah, and Chris Christie must have been in the room.
Right.
Well, Chris Christie was actually Trump's coach for the debate.
Right. But
It's called Reckless Endangerment of Chris Christie and the Trump Show.
let me tell you,
And Biden, you're fired.
these debates is exactly what happens on the local level. I have been in them, I have seen them, and this is how they control a debate to throw you off of your game, so you're not talking about what's important. Because again, if Biden had been more alert and just said stick to the facts, or every time, even going back to the debate with Clinton, Hillary, and Trump, she stuck to the facts. Even when he was walking and standing behind her, trying to
intimidate her, yeah.
Stuck to what the question was, and she did not let him intimidate her. And that's what you have to do with him, because you know he's a bully, you know what you're walking into, so you have to be prepared for that. So they didn't properly train Biden for that. They should have had people walking around the room and throwing stuff and questions at him, because that's what Trump was doing. He was a kid in the mall that fell out that couldn't get something from their mother.
I think the best handler of Donald Trump was Nancy Pelosi. She let him have his tantrum and stuck to her guns. She didn't get all upset about it and composed about it, and basically said to him this. And I think that's one lesson that Biden should actually look at. The other thing is that they need a moderator with some balls. He ran all over Wallace. Wallace kept going, Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President. And you couldn't get a word in.
Well, you have to also remember, both sides, they choose the rules, they choose their moderators purposely, because they know the weaknesses in that person. So he was purposely put up there to do exactly what he did. Nothing. Nothing. Because Trump did not come to debate. He came to show out. And that's because his base likes when he shows out and carries on like that. And Biden has to know, if he even agrees to the second debate, that whatever he says, you do not have to address that question. When Chris asks you a question, that's the question that you answer. If Trump asks you a question, that's a conversation. You don't answer that. You have to ignore him, shut him down, and act like he's not there.
But they did, in their rules, they had the open conversation. So after answering it, and they get to address it. But every time that Biden started to address it, Trump interrupted him, and that's how he controlled it. Threw him completely off of his game plan.
Absolutely, but see, the other thing, but not only did he throw him off, he threw Chris off to the point that Chris kept moving on to the next section because he couldn't get through in the first section because Trump kept on. And he said, talk about policy. We're going to talk about this. Well, Trump said, all right, then. Well, I'm ready. What was going on? So then he'd ask the question about it.
Yeah.
He moved the moderator around when he shouldn't have been able to do that.
Correct.
Trump is a bully, and see, even though he's a bully, that moderator was sitting there in the back of his head. He was thinking, if this crazy nut gets back in again, where's my career going to go?
What I like to say, Diane, basically he also talked about the mail-in ballot fiasco that we're having with the post office. I don't think Trump wants us to do mail-in ballots in this country because he doesn't know who is going to vote for who. You know what I mean?
Well, because the Russians can't interfere in the mail-in ballot.
So also, I would like to share to the show, Eric, we do have in Essex County voting machines, drop boxes. There's one in Orange at the Orange Police Department, 29 Park Street. There is also one in West Orange at the Town Hall, and also throughout Essex County, there's drop boxes where we can't trust the post office no more, no less than elections. So what we need to do, we need to get that information. The information is in everybody's ballot that was mailed out throughout Essex County, and go to these drop boxes and fill these boxes up. And also that 1.4 million people that did not vote, they need to get out and vote instead of leave it in their mailbox.
Absolutely will. But what we have to remember is the language in which Trump used when he talks about and tries to throw the post office under the bus. He also put the new postal master in his place. So it's either you got somebody in there that's pulling out the machines because you know the postal system works, or you're telling people that it don't work, so we shouldn't be doing mail-in ballots. But you have to be able to decipher, like I said earlier, between a full lie and a partial truth. And we know, being a part of politics, we know, Eric, there's always going to be mail fraud. We've seen it in every single state. As long as you got people that work in these offices that are put in place because of the people that are elected, you will have mail fraud, whether it's electronic, whether it's a paper file, whether it's through the mail, whether it's a provisional ballot, whether it's
voter fraud.
Voter fraud. You will always have it. It is.
Yeah. In fact, they did. I'm sorry. They did a report yesterday with a gentleman who investigates voter fraud. He had to actually get the Supreme Court to release the actual information from these counties, in which they found out that Martin Luther King's cousin, they had her taken off the ballot, so to decrease the numbers. In fact, Obama did talk to the gentleman in an interview, for a second term. He said, yeah, they're stealing an average of 6 million votes by just basically fraud. But one thing that I like to say in terms of what Diane said with the language that he did, another thing that he did was he said he linked Biden to the crime bill, but then on the same breath told him that he was against law and order. Does that make any sense?
Right. But see, and Biden took the bait for that too.
Yes, he did.
No. I don't think that's what. Let us be clear what he. No, let us be clear what he did yesterday with regard to that, Vincent. He said, okay, either you're here or you're here, but I'm not gonna let you be in the middle. So, are you gonna say that you were the author of the crime bill? Right? Because you're moving away from that, right? You're saying that you're a reformed man, right? Okay, so then if you move there, then where are you as it relates to law enforcement, right?
I didn't interpret it in that way, Eric.
Yeah, well, of course you didn't, right? But I'm saying, but I did, right? And so it was like, okay, so where are you with regard to this? And I think this was him trying to separate Joe Biden from the progressive wing of the party, right? In terms of law enforcement, in terms of the Green New Deal, and in terms of healthcare. He was trying to position Biden, right? They were trying to, what I believe, and I said this yesterday, that what they were trying to do is get sound bites, right? So I think that you're going to very shortly see ads that now come out, right? That now, they're already out. Exactly. So this is what I said yesterday. So you get the sound bites, right? That position Biden, right, on healthcare, on the Green New Deal, and on his views on policing, right, law enforcement, and then you juxtapose those sound bites with where the progressive wing of the party is on those issues. And now what you do is you create confusion within the progressive wing of the party in terms of where you're going to go. And now you force AOC, you force Ilhan, Rashida, and
Eric, they were already on top of that. I spent 2 hours yesterday on Twitter. AOC, Ohan, the squad, they were all over that.
It doesn't matter, right? But what I'm saying to you, Vincent.
They were saying that
No, Vincent. Vincent, I understand what they listen, Vincent. I understand what they're gonna do. It's clear what they're gonna do. The question is now. Here's the question: whether or not these women, the squad, and Bernie Sanders, whether they have enough control over, because that's what it's going to be now, control over those people who were supporting them to be able to drag them into voting for Biden, and not feed into these advertisements that are going to be coming out. That is going to be the thing. And what I'm saying to you is this: simply because he did that and is creating that confusion. And like you said, you spent 2 hours on Twitter watching them now defend this. This is where I'm saying the guy did what he was supposed to do, or what he aimed to do, right? Is to put them all on their heels, get them involved in this, in the defense of where they are, and trying to keep the progressive wing of the party together and wrapped around Joe Biden. I'm not sure that they're going to be successful.
Well, see, here's the key of the debate. The key to the debate is to be on the offensive. Donald Trump was not being on the offensive, but he was being offensive, and that's what threw everything off and turned it into a shit show for America.
No, I disagree. I think that he was completely on the offensive. I think that
offensive.
No. He was offensive as well, but I think that he was on the offensive. I think that Donald Trump talked about what Donald Trump wanted to talk about. I think Donald Trump made everybody else talk about what he wanted to talk about. That's being on the offensive, right? That's being on the offensive. What do you mean?
I'm going to ask a question about race, but you can answer about anything. That's the exact statement.
Right. That's being on the offensive. Now you could say that you were offended by it, but he was.
Hold it. But here's the thing that really kicked me in the butt. He asked, why did you cut the sensitivity and racial training? Donald Trump said, because it's racist.
Right. Listen, again, I don't disagree with what you're saying. The point that I'm making, and I think that what Diane is saying, is this. Donald Trump controlled the debate. Donald Trump drove it into an area where he needed to in order to position Biden, right or wrong, position Biden, right, against the progressive wing of the party. And you heard him say it. He continued to say it. Oh, you lost the radical left. Oh, you lost the progressive wing. So he was intentionally, right? And this is what I'm saying. So he was on the...
Intentionally calling it out, yeah.
Right. He was intentionally...
I agree.
Right. And so now, the question is whether or not, and I don't know that they can. I believe that progressive wing of the party is hardcore. And I don't think for them it's about Trump. I think it's about issues.
Right. Now, the other thing that they talked about with the questions was in regards to Donald Trump's, regards to taxes. And Donald Trump said, oh, I paid millions of dollars in taxes. That was the answer. And he's probably right, but not federal taxes. So
no, he does pay a lot of taxes to other countries.
And that's what I was going to say, answer other countries. So he was very specific in his answer. Of course, I paid millions of dollars in taxes.
So Diane, may I ask you a question? So why did he just mention $750?
Because
where did that come from?
No. What he said was, they asked the question, what about your taxes? It says $750 you only pay taxes. He said, I paid millions of dollars in taxes. And he left it at that. He didn't say, I paid $1 million in federal taxes, state income tax, to New Jersey, to New York, to the United States. He just said millions. He didn't give you a time frame. He left it open-ended for everybody to figure it out for themselves. Because they're going to try and fact-check that, and that won't be a lie. He didn't say over the lifetime of his life he's paid millions. He said, I paid millions of dollars in taxes, is what he said.
Yes.
And then Joe said something to him, and he said, well, that's a good question. Why haven't you eliminated the taxes before, Joe? And he didn't respond. So he was able to, again, control the situation. And that's exactly what he did the entire time.
So what are we going to look forward for the next debate? What would everybody like to look forward to these gentlemen next debate? I think Biden needs to go back. You know, they did not even talk about education. You know, in this country.
No.
You know, they didn't talk about many issues. You know what I mean?
I think in order for them, if his camp feels as though that he did not win this debate, then what they need to go back and do is rework this over and come back in the next debate and specifically talk about whatever it is policies are going to be. I don't give a crap what the question is, but this is going to be my answer. And that's how the debate is going to go.
And they should be able to mute Trump's mic.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to do for healthcare? My dog's 55 years old. What do you want to do with education? Oh, my son is deceased. You have to say exactly what you want to talk about. The way Trump did it, that's how Biden's going to have to do it. In order to get his policies across, in order to win back that progressive side that may be filtering on saying, yeah, I don't think this is the guy. He's going to have to do it. Otherwise, he's going to lose the people. He's going to lose that set of people because, like Biden, he has his group of diehard, blue bleeding people that are going to vote for him regardless. Now, what you're going to see in the next debate with the vice president debate is going to be a lot more intellectual. Kamala Harris is going to come out with a lot more information because she's not going to be as easy deterred from what she wants to talk about. Now, she may talk about stuff we don't want to hear, but she's going to talk about something. She's not going to let
that is true. That is true. And Mike Pence is a little bit more poised than Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely, because Mike Pence doesn't look like his blood pressure ever goes up. So
he looks like his hair doesn't even move.
Oh, that's going to be a very interesting debate. That's going to be a very interesting debate between the two of them. Yeah.
And with that one, you're going to have to watch the tone and the words and what she says because she's been caught out there several times talking about as if it's her running for president instead of her being the support and being the vice president. And I think we should talk about before that debate to educate people what the role of a vice president is because some people believe they got more power than they really don't.
They don't. The entitled role of the vice president is that he's in charge of the Senate. So in the event of a senatorial tie, he does the final vote.
Well, wait a minute, but she's a she, so why? Wait, no.
Let me finish. Part two is that during the election period, the vice president is supposed to be the attack dog. He's the one that shoots out, or she is the one that's supposed to shoot down all the negativity and attack the president. The president.
Right. So listen, we got 6 minutes left with the show. I'm going to say this. And this is, the quote that I'm going to continue to use from The Color Purple. And this is directed directly to the Democratic Party. Until you do
fight all my life.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is going to crumble. And I believe that moving forward, that is the case. I think that foundational Black Americans have finally had enough. I think after Obama's 8 years, they have realized that even having a Black president does not loosen the grip that the corporation white supremacy has on us here in this country. And that all we're doing is kicking the can down the road to nowhere for Black Americans. And until they do right by Black Americans, everything that the Democratic Party is going to crumble. Yeah, that's my belief.
Okay. Can I say this?
Yep.
The Torah talks of Jesus spoke to the congregation, and he talked on that exact same thing when he was expressing to them and explaining to them that he was the Savior, and they were questioning it. He said, because they didn't question the fact that he wasn't the Savior that they anticipated. So Jesus said that a righteous man had a house and many land and property, and then came a big flood. And they sent representatives to knock on everybody's door and told them that the flood was coming to leave their property. The man said, "I'm a righteous man, and the Lord will save me." And then again, the water filled up, and the man was on his roof, and they sent the boat. And the righteous man says, "I'm a righteous man, the Lord will save me." Then the man finally died, and he went before the Lord, and he said, "I'm a righteous man. I followed your laws. Why did you not save me?" And the Lord said to him, "I sent you officials. I even sent you a boat. What more do you want?" Black America has to stop looking for the Savior to come in the manner in which they want and look at the Savior that they have.
I think that's nonsense. I think that's nonsense. Because what you're suggesting is nonsense.
But it's true.
But it's not. 400 years. 400 years. 400 years.
Looking at the Savior that you want and look at the Savior that you have.
There is no Savior.
Well, see, and that's what the Jews said when they crucified him.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I don't think there's a Savior. So, stop messing up the narrative.
see, Jody, save him.
Yeah, that's crazy. Joe Biden is not my Savior.
He is not the Savior that we want. He is the Savior that we have.
No, he's not the Savior at all.
Well, he can save us from Trump.
Oh, God.
Okay, all right.
Jody, wait a minute, Jody. He done messed it all up.
Jody, are you drinking again?
You let him talk too long, Jody.
I haven't drunk in 14 years, but you know what? After that debate, I was really thinking about it.
Diane, maybe you need to stop drinking and give him a drink.
Hey, as fired up as I am now, could you imagine me with a shot of with a shot of Tabasco?
It's all passionate, man. You gotta be passionate to love it, man.
It is.
You know?
We do need to we need to drill down on the messaging. Listen, again, I'm gonna tell you, I need Eric's finger, right? Pulling the lever. And so you have to be careful of the messaging you give, because that is a problem, right? That in large part Black folks been waiting for a Savior. And, I believe in God. I don't even want to get in that space. And ain't none of them my Savior. Ain't none of them ever gonna save us. And we just living in this space, right? He's not a Savior by no stretch of the imagination. And we're not going to be in this space that Eric is looking for a long time. We are way too behind progress in that space.
So before
Wait, no, let her. Listen, wait, guys, wait, no, listen, we gotta. Wait, go ahead, very quickly.
I think the 1.4 million people need to get out and vote.
Right.
And that's what, and the conditions that we live in must change.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is that we gotta get out and vote.
All right.
That's the only way we get this man out of the White House.
Right.
And change
All right.
the demographics of this country.
Right. We're at the 12 o'clock hour. So I'm going to say this, and Vincent, I'm going to throw it to you to close it out. Mary Walker says something very interesting here, and we can pick this up maybe tomorrow. She said, we need to clarify that although Joe Biden nor any one man is not our savior, we can use him. So the question that I want to ask, and maybe we'll save this for tomorrow, is, but we don't have the infrastructure within our community to use him, right? And so right now he's using us. And until we can shift that, until we can have the dog wagging the tail instead of the tail wagging the dog, we're going to always be in the shitter. Go ahead, Vincent. Close us out.
Well, on that note, let's get ready for tomorrow for another fast 2 hours of communication, conversation, and sharing of information. This is always an exciting time in our lives, but we have the power to make the change. If we're not voting, then we're voting for the person that we don't want. Now, saying that, I'm Vincent Squire. on behalf of Eric Dawson and Diane, the Queen of Media. And let's not forget our favorite statistician, Jody, Big Will, and Mike. Your comments are always welcome and very much appreciated. I'd like to say to you all, be safe, keep your distance, wear your mask, only go out when absolutely necessary, and avoid crowds. If it's God's will, we'll be back tomorrow to discuss these hot topics and the issues that could possibly change our lives. And remember to vote. Get out and vote, not just vote for the president. Vote for those local politicians that have been against them, that have been doing nothing. Vote for those who have done nothing during this virus that affects our lives. Vote against those who stand against the agenda of moving and progressing the black population. God bless.